Boop. Oh, all right, there we go. Recording. Hey there. Uh, it's been like a week. This is Arash, San Diego-based photographer, host of Burner Podcast, founder of Justified Hype. I am here. You can see my background. I'm here at USD, University of San Diego. A lot of people don't realize that's what USD stands for. Not UCSD, USD. It's a private Catholic university. There's that background. See it? Okay. Yeah, I wanted to have this like set up here so you could get this cool background and I could talk for 10 minutes, but I forgot my tripod again. And it's been like a week since I did an upload, so I felt like I really wanted to get one up. And of course, I'm all sweaty again because it's just coming back from a bicycle ride and a run on the beach. I used to like pretty regularly run 5Ks like every Friday. And then I started to slow down a little bit. I think I got like a knee injury and I stopped. And then like lockdown definitely like took a huge chunk out of my stamina. And then I've been getting like back into the physical activity. And this time around, I'm like doing it really, really easy. Like if you've been checking out these vlogs since the beginning, you're aware that my goal is to get to 100 push-ups in the morning. So every morning. So right now I'm at 11, which is I started with one. Just one push-up in the morning, and then two, and then I got like wrist injuries, which was really frustrating. So I was doing all kinds of like stretches and stuff there. So now I'm doing like fist push-ups. My friend John is a pretty athletic. He grew up pretty very involved in athletics, and he's a nurse. He's a medical professional. He suggested I do like the push-ups like where you're on your knees, but I tried doing that and I actually found that to be a little bit more frustrating. So I'm doing fists so I can protect my wrists. Each little thing that happens, it just feels like no matter what life throws at you, me, can't speak for you, I can tell you my experience has been like that never stops. And each one of those things I just accept that that's the universe nudging me in a different direction, saying, hey, this is what you need to do. When lockdown happened, my bread and butter as a photographer was coming from large events and festivals and stuff, and those like gone overnight. So I sat back, I wrote some more, I focused on blogging and storytelling, and even like starting this vlog, we're just connecting with you folks out there more directly. And then when stuff started to open back up, the gigs just started flooding in. If you've been watching these regularly, you're aware that I do a lot of like government work. So I've been shooting for like various different government agencies, and then also smaller gigs have come in. I'll get emails from, I had a photo that I took of somebody and they put it up, and I didn't think much of it. Like I don't like really dislike any of my work, but like this wasn't like a photo that I remember thinking, oh wow, like this is an amazing photo. That didn't happen. And then I got a message on Instagram from somebody that saw the photo and said, this is exactly the kind of photo I'm looking for. And gig. Next week, I can't talk about that one yet. I'll talk about this. I have a gig next week that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but I will share it with you after I finish it. This should be fun. What did I do? Yeah, I started to feel the call. God, look at that. That's so nice. Living in San Diego, man. I started to feel the call to. How does this look when I'm towering over you? You're looking at me through my crotch. Wow, look at those leaves. That's so rad. Anyway, it's not a flattering angle. I started to feel the call to like wake back up early again. And I guess like the coolest thing that I've experienced in the past few months is I've learned to be okay with different seasons in my life. So for a season, I was waking up just whenever I felt like it, and it looked like around 8:30 a.m. was the time. It's not a guarantee that this will happen, but I'm feeling like I miss waking up before sunrise. I used to wake up at 4:30 every day. Did that for like 2 or 3 years, and it was heaven. And then for a while, I didn't want to do it anymore. So now I'm starting to feel like I want to get back to doing that. I don't know about 4:30. Might be like 5:30 or 6ish, but today I woke up 5:55 a.m. and meditated, had a cup of coffee, and rode my bike out to Pacific Beach. Did a run, and the run, it's itchy. You're not supposed to touch your face. Don't do what I just did. The reason the run was significant for me was because I bicycled out there and I thought maybe I should do less of a run. Because what I've been doing is I started out, again, the same thing, like starting a little bit and adding little by little. So I started my runs, getting back into it with like aiming for a time or a mile break. So I started with like less than a mile. And maybe like, 10, 15 minutes of running, I think. And then so my goal is every time I get out there, I go just a tad bit more. So it's like barely even noticeable. So if it was 15 minutes and 1 mile, then like next I would go 1.10 miles or 15 and a half, 16 minutes. And then add either a minute or a tenth of a mile or a 20th of a mile, just like a little bit, like barely noticeable. My friend Breyer actually is an awesome artist and community builder himself. I was chatting with him on Instagram a few months ago, and like 3 months ago, when I was telling him about how like I miss running, I miss having that energy. He said like just try to do 5% better. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. 5% better. That's the goal. 5% more than the last time. I'm pretty sure it's a book, by the way. 5% better, 5% more. So yeah, so that's what I'm aiming for. So today I went out there thinking that I was only going to do like 15 minutes, like maybe I got to start over because I had to bicycle to my destination first. And then not only did I do what I did last time, but I broke it. So I broke a mile marker. I don't know what it is right now. I have it in I keep track of it. But yeah, I went an extra couple of minutes and broke the next mile breaker, and now bicycled back home. So I'm at USD right now. University of San Diego is right around the corner from my home, and I'm gonna do a COVID test. You know what? I take that back. Not call. Who cares? I'm just gonna do it. It's not a big deal. It's funny. A little while ago, some very dear friends of mine are having a very, very, very private, very, very small birthday gathering, and they had messaged me and they said we're asking everybody to have a COVID test that week. And at that time, I think at the time that they told me about it, it wasn't as readily available. And even now, it is, but every little bit helps, just like making some little attempts. Yeah, at that time, I looked at it and I'm like, man, it's going to cost me $150. Like, it's basically, I got to pay $150 to go to a party? Nah. If that was the case, I wasn't sure about it. But then I just kind of let it sit for a while and kind of see what happens. And then now you can just kind of pop in there and get it, which is nice, finally, America. Good job. What else can I share with you? I made some notes yesterday of stuff that was on my mind. I was like, man, I'll share this when I finally do my journal. Sorry it's so shaky. I forgot my tripod at home, and it had already been a week since I've done one of these, and I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. I imagine a lot of you aren't like watching, like if a lot of you, the tens of thousands of you, if you are checking this out, you might just be like listening in the background, who knows. But what else was interesting? Yeah, I have this thing that I do, by the way, sometimes is I'll start to write something that's going to be, like I think is going to be a status update, and I'll type it up, and I'll do it in Evernote because I keep a daily journal in Evernote. I write things out constantly, write out my thoughts. So very often I'll write something out, and then when I look at it written on the screen, I'll decide, no, I don't want to make this a status update. I don't want to put this out to the world. It's not bad or anything. It's just, I personally, the way I live life, my personal values are that I don't think every single brain fart we ever have needs to be public at exactly the minute that we have it. Which is funny coming from a guy recording an unedited video ranting on about his personal life. But I think it's based on the medium too. Like this particular medium, if you're watching this, you are tuned into like a long format ideation session. Does that make sense? Like you're here because you've consented to this discourse. You're somehow interested in me, or you may have stumbled across this on YouTube and you're just into vlogs, or you're a friend, or somebody potentially interested in my work. So you're into this, like you do want to hear this. Whereas I feel like Facebook, it's the strangest thing. Like, yeah, you've consented to be on Facebook, but you haven't necessarily consented to everything that everybody puts out there. And then on top of that, Facebook makes it a point to put stuff in front of you that is controversial. I'm not sure if I'm articulating this right, nor do I feel very passionate about selling the point. My main point is there's stuff that I'll write and I'll go, like at first when I'm thinking it, I'll think, oh, this will be a great status update. And then I'll write it and I'll look at it on my journal screen and I'll go, no, I don't want to post that. But I got it out of my system. Now it's like written. My fingers got to move. I got to make my snarky joke. But then like other ideas might come out of it. I might look at it and go like, oh, this is kind of a cool idea for a photo. Or, oh, like maybe I could talk about this on my next vlog. So yeah, yesterday I had like 3 or 4 of those. Like I wrote them out and then I started to look at them and like, you know what? No, this could like potentially make someone in my social circle not feel good about themselves. It wasn't at all directed at anybody. The stuff I write never is, but I read it, and then when I read it, I was like, oh, this could potentially make somebody feel bad. And I don't want to make somebody feel bad. And then I thought like, oh, if I describe it in words, it would be very different than if I like type it on a screen. And again, like same thing, then people comment, and then somebody else comments, and then somebody misinterprets it, and then you go down that rabbit hole, and so it's fun. I like writing stuff out, and then if I feel like it passes the test, I'm like, oh, this is still funny, then I'll post it. One of the thoughts I had yesterday was actually I was going to share that I've had this experience a bunch of times, and it's not directed at anybody specifically because I've had it a bunch of times. I'll be scrolling through social media somewhere. There's my bike. I'll be scrolling through social media somewhere, and I will run across a photo that I've taken, and it looks better down. I'll run across. It's weird that you could see the camera. If I could see where the lens was and I look into it without looking at the video screen, I feel like I do that. I feel like I'm trying not to look at myself. But anyway, so I'll scroll down on like feed, social media, Instagram, Twitter, something, and I'll see that someone has posted a photo of them or of something that's mine, and I'll love it. I will love it. I'll comment, fire emoji, like something like that's super cool. That makes me really happy that people like my shit and they're sharing it. I love it when people love the photos of themselves that I took. So I'll love it, or have some sort of a reaction to it, and then I'll notice that they went back and edited and tagged me on the photo, saying "photo by Arash Afshar," which I appreciate, let's not get it twisted. I appreciate the hell out of the shout outs. And then I get kind of worried though that like maybe they thought me liking or loving that photo was my passive aggressive way of saying, hey, why aren't you giving me credit? Which is like so not anywhere in my thoughts. I'm just like super happy that they love the photo. And it's just like, so I wanted to write that. I want to tell people like, hey, like, don't worry about it. Like I appreciate the shout outs. I love you for it. I love that you want to give me credit and you want to promote my work. I don't want anybody to think that like I need you to tag me and give me credit or I'll be upset. You know? That's why I don't like watermark my photos. Yeah, I mean, I just started writing about that, and I kind of shared like a little bit about how I'm certain they're out there, but I don't. The big gig doesn't come. It's for me. It's never come. Not to say it can't, but it's never come from somebody just like scrolling past social media and seeing one random photo I took and said, "That man, hire that man for our $25,000 gig." Like it's never fucking happened. So I'm not worried about that. That stuff doesn't worry me. The real jobs, the real decision makers, the real paychecks, the big ones, those come from people who already know me. They know my work. Someone that hires a person like me to work with, you know, on a project that has as many moving parts as the kind of work that I do, they already have done their homework about who I am. They're not just scrolling past social media and seeing a watermark. I'm not saying that that's not good promo or anything. In fact, I probably should be doing it. It's just on the list of things to care about. It's really low on my personal list. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I'm kind of deciding whether, like, how deep I want to get into that. Maybe we'll talk more about it in the future. Maybe we'll talk more about Seth Godin in the future. Because I like what he's always said about like social media and stuff. He's like, it's a barometer of how, like, where your work is and how far you've come, but it's not the work. It's focus on the work. Focus on doing good work, and then you can look at your social media reactions and stuff as a measurement of how far you've come. But it doesn't give me pleasure or joy to play the Instagram game, so I don't do it. If it brings you pleasure or joy to do it, by all means, you should do it. It's just not fun for me, so I don't care. And then when I see people use my photos, I'm just happy. I know that people are talking about me. I know that they're looking out for me. I know that if they like my photo, they're going to be the first ones to chime in. I appreciate the tagging. I love you. It's awesome. I wish there was a way that I could convey to everybody, like, it's not. Maybe sometimes they just like forgot to tag me or something. I've considered that, and then when they saw that I liked it, they're like, oh yeah, maybe I should tag him. Which again, no complaints. Anyway, as you can see, that's why I typed it out, and then I decided not to write it. And then I also didn't want to make it seem like I'm shitting on people who do watermark and who do want the tag, because I absolutely know photographers who are spectacular. And for them they do place a higher value on that, and I'm not dumping on that. That's completely fine. It's just in my career path, it's not high up on my priorities, and it doesn't bring me pleasure or joy to play that game, so I just don't. I'm interested in like major long-term relationships. My plan is to shoot the cover of Vogue and GQ, and in those situations, like, again, like, you're not hiring a random person you scrolled past on Instagram, unless it's like a gimmick that magazine is pushing. I don't know. Maybe there are magazines out there who, like, they pride themselves on that's what they do. They're always finding the next talent, which is, again, there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's just a personal choice. Blah, 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 blah. That's why I didn't type it as a status update. Anyway, so I'm going to go get this COVID test so I can go to this party. And then I got to go do a bunch of photo editing, which is not my favorite thing to do anymore these days, but, we'll do it. Sometimes it's just the job. Look at that. How cool is that? A cool is that view? Oh, and this is like canyon. I keep seeing people walking down here. It's really nice. Okay. Love you all. Ciao. See you soon. Boop.